Welcome back to another episode of Melanin Mysteries, where we dive into the juiciest Black true crime cases and explore the tangled web of relationships. I'm your host, Tiffany, and as always, with me is my partner in crime.
Yes, it is I, Willie.
And today we have a case so wild it could only come out of Texas. No shade. We're taking you to church. Only this time, no one caught the Holy Ghost, but instead caught a gunshot wound, resulting in a fatal death, amongst other things. So let me set the scene. A pastor, a murder plot, and a love triangle that makes a soap opera look like a children's story. Today, we are breaking down the case of Tracy and Paulette Burleson. So buckle up because this case has more twists and turns than a roller coaster at the state fair. And trust me, you won't believe who ends up playing the hitman. Let's just say the family reunions would have been really awkward. So let's get into it.
Here we go. So a little after 10 p.m. on May 18, 2010, a 911 call was placed to Houston emergency line from Tracy Burleson.
911, please, fire ambulance. Hey, somebody said 911, please. Hey, police. My name is Tracy Burleson.
His wife Paulette had been shot. So police arrive at the scene. They find Tracy laying over his wife's body. She was laying face down on the concrete in the driveway of their home with a single gunshot wound to the back of her head. I apologize. And blood was running down the driveway into the street. A single shell casing from a .38 caliber gun was found at the scene. Unfortunately, Paulette was pronounced dead on the scene. Rest in heaven.
So that is just a devastating scene. You
I
got a
know.
lady laying on the ground in the driveway in front of her home, and it's a trail of blood trickling out to the driveway. That's so graphic.
A bit of blood on
Yes, sir. Man, I was holding my wife. How long it did before she got shot? But she was still warm and everything.
But
So,
also, it's becoming so common. So, we'll go ahead.
Paulette Ross Burleson was born June 5th in 1953 in Bullhead Bluff, Camden County, Georgia. She was one of two biological children and also had two adopted siblings. She was married and she had two sons in her 20s. So that marriage ended in divorce. So at the time, she lived in low income housing and she aspired for better for her children. Her kids described her as an amazing mother. People said she kept her boys in church. She was very friendly, very well kept. And they said that she took care of everyone around her and would give her last to her family. So following her divorce, she kind of slipped into a slight depression. And in an attempt to get Paulette's spirits back up, her sister invited her to church, specifically the First New Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Houston, Texas.
God damn. Why I gotta be so long though? The First New Mount Calvary Baptist Church on the side of Jericho, right up the street from Bethlehem.
I was like, black. I swear, I'm like, this
Black people.
always is. That's how you know it's a black church. That's how you know
Yeah,
it's a black church.
just a Church of God, First Ministry. They got it as a first. And first of all, it's not the First New Mountain. Everybody put first in front of their church. It's not the
You weren't the
first.
first.
Okay.
And it's how many new Calvary was the church on Greenleaf. It's
Yeah.
yes. hmm
Yes.
They broke my heart with that show. So anyway, while the choir had folks catching the Holy Ghost, Paulette was catching feelings for a much younger drummer at the church, Tracy T.B. Burleson. And he was born August 8th of 1965, and he grew up in the church with aspirations to become a pastor. So the two
Mm.
met in 1994, and it was that they traveled together, they played bingo, and they fell in love very quickly. So at the time, Tracy was only 29 and Paulette was 41.
You know what's
She's a
funny?
cougar.
Yeah, she definitely a cougar. But what's even funnier is usually the wait, he said the drummer. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I apologize. I'm thinking he was the choir director because I was like, usually they gay, but no, he was the drummer. So all right, he cool.
All
Okay.
choir directors are not gay.
Look, man, let me tell you, majority of the choir directors in the church are gay because you're not, but they make the best music though.
We're moving on. So Paulette and Tracy, they got married on July 15th of 1955. And we're just gonna, from this point on, call him
1995.
1995. Thank you. And we're going to just call Tracy TB just to keep it simple. So
Gotcha.
TB became the pastor of First New Mount Calvary Baptist Church in 2007. And at this point, Paulette was promoted to First Lady.
She was old as hell, first of all. Now, granted, I am in my 40s. I'm not about to discuss my age. By the way, my birthday will be on Saturday, but she was 41 and 29. that's a big ass difference.
Because
She was
I
old
can't
as
date no
hell.
younger man. You know, I ain't trying to say, but men are so y'all childish, and like I can't date like down. Especially, I'm on my way to 40. I got a little bit of time, a couple years, but I couldn't imagine dating somebody now at the age of 29. Like, what can you? It's my mental is not there. I like
But
my men
I got but
older.
at the 29 though. Oh, this is so wrong. We probably got to delete this out. At the age of 29, who wants some old ass 41-year-old coochie?
Hey, I ain't trying to be funny, no. So it's funny you said that. I was scrolling Facebook a little while ago, and this lady was saying she's in her, I think she said she was in her late 40s, and she made a comment. She was like, I can't get men my age to pay attention to me. She was like, all that's in my face is these 25, 26-year-olds. So I started scrolling through the thread because I'm nosy. And all these women are like, yeah, I keep me a young boy. Like, so apparently it's a thing these days. It's a
Damn,
thing.
man.
Not
That's
not my
and
thing,
that's so
because
crazy. I ain't even a young dude no more. I'm in my 40s. I'm the old nigga now, so I gotta watch out for these young Thundercats, man. Trying to sneak up and take my girl, man. So look, Tracy had a son from a previous relationship. His name was William Darnell Fuller. He was born October 27th, 1989. William lived with his mother until he was about 12 years old. From there, he moved in with Tracy and Paulette. He was a sickly child. He was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia and was always in and out of the hospital. He also suffered from seizures and bone infections. Bone infections. I never heard of that. But back to the night of the murder, right? Police are on the scene and, of course, questions TB as to what happened with his wife. Of course, TB said, look, he left Paula. He went to the convenience store and brought a baby root candy bar and some corn chips not far from the house. When he came back, Paulette was lying in the driveway dead. He said he was gone about 10, 15 minutes. Police understands he's distraught, but, of course, they got a job to do. So they perform a GSR test, which eventually comes back negative. And just in case you don't know, a GSR test is a gun residue test that they um, give you to make sure that you don't have any gun residue on your hand. So police asked TB if he or Paulette had any enemies. He stated that due to him being a pastor, there were some congregation members not happy with him being a pastor. But damn, they that man. Well, what the hell are you doing to make them that mad that they want to kill your wife? What is you preaching? Or what is you stealing? I don't know. TB told investigators that he carried around a gun because he was in fear of their lives. Again, what is
that
you
sounds
doing?
suspicious. Because what the hell, you supposed to be a
Yes.
man of God, and you carry around a gun because you scared
The
for your
only
life?
weapon
What
you
are you
need is the
doing?
word of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's the only weapon that we fight is the word of the Lord. It says it, right? It's the only, and when it talks about the armor of God, the word is the only offensive weapon we have. He said, forget the word. He carrying him a 38.
He said, "I'ma keeps me a piece of steel. Peace be still. He'll keep him a piece of steel."
What
Remember
they
Jesus
say,
say that?
glory. Yeah, what he say, glory. He said, I got my good book in my left hand and I got my rifle in my right. So TB told investigators that he carried around a gun, as I said it, because he feared for his life. So on May 12th, 2010, a couple days before the murder, the church had been burnt down, right? So that somehow the church mysteriously burned down. So maybe he do get enemies where they burning down the church. It's time for the detectives to get on their Inspector Gadget shit now because they're like, all right, something ain't right. We got to figure this out. First stop, they're gonna go ahead and talk to the church members, because the church members always piping hot with the tea. You already know church members gossip, so they're gonna tell everything. So basically, TB and Paulette were a power couple, and there were plenty of rumors about the couple ways. It was said that the couple seemed to be more interested in money than serving the Lord, and members speculated about church funds being misappropriated for personal use. I guess in 2008, the church qualified for relief from FEMA after Hurricane Ike tore the roof off the sanctuary. But instead of the roof being fixed, the pastor and the wife had new cars. So just imagine that, man. Like you going to church and shit, there's buckets everywhere just catching leaks. And then they pull up in a new Mercedes Benz. Like, why would you still be a member of the church? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? And that'd be the crazy part. Because majority of the pastors that are like that is always in low poverty areas, right? So
That's true.
yes, you like and our names like Creflo Dollar. He a cricket passer. I'm sorry, I'm naming him. Kenneth Copeland, he a crooked one. What's the one dude name? The white dude. He like the
You
white
talking about
dude.
Joel Osteen?
Joe Olsen, he crooked. Yes, all these all these pastors
Don't
are
say all
crooked.
these pastors because there are some very good pastors. Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'll say that I don't think it was meant for pastors to be rich. I really don't, because if you look at the word of God, it was nobody who was preaching the word of God that was rich. They was always struggling. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find a place to sleep. There was no rich pastors preaching the word of God. So I don't think it was. I'm not saying it was meant for them to be poor, but to have all this money, no, I don't. I don't believe that. But go
I
ahead.
don't.
I'm sorry.
I don't think the issue is them having money. Is how they behave when they do have money.
It's
I
the
think it's
love of
more so.
money. It's
Yes,
not. Yeah.
it's
It's
not the
yes. It's
money.
the
That's
love
right.
of
It's
money.
the love of money is the root of all evil. But
Mhm.
okay, let's move on. So Paulette and TB also had accusations of child abuse. So William, who we mentioned before, TB's son, had filed a complaint against Paulette for abuse. She was charged for this, and she was given a deal to take parenting classes, and she got probation to avoid jail time.
Man, church folks ain't shit.
Stop generalizing people. All
Huh?
I'm gonna say is that this I'm gonna say one thing that aggravates me about, and I know you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead, but anytime they talk about she was this, she was that, okay, clearly she couldn't be that loving if you over here with child abuse allegations that were found to have been accurate. But they don't want to talk about that. But okay, let's keep going.
Mhm.
So stories did circulate that one time TB attacked Paulette with a baseball bat, wilding.
Oh.
And let's see why. So there were hella rumors of TB cheating with several women in the congregation.
I
Several.
can see it. I can see it. Mhm.
So I'm sitting there trying to figure out why he attacked her. It should have been the other way around, her attacking him, since he out here slinging dick in
But
church.
my thing is, why do women do that, man? I'm gonna add. I would like to do a poll. Like, why do women? I guess maybe it's a position of power, but I don't look. You know what?
So
We
why she
that's
stayed?
no, not why she stayed, but why do women like they cheat with the pastor and then I don't know. I can't make.
Oh, that, yeah, that's a odd one. I don't understand
Yeah, like
that.
maybe it's a power. I don't know. It's crazy. But
So yeah,
he's
that's a
slanging
lot.
biblical wiener.
So at one point, Paulette had even moved out of the house. She did it very quietly. She didn't tell the congregation. She didn't tell her family because she wanted to keep up appearances at church. So at the time of her murder, it was unclear if she was back living with TB or if she had just come to visit. We're not really sure. So there was one woman, and we're just going to say, for the sake of reference, we're going to call her Rosie. So Rosie and TB were having an affair, and
Mm.
Rosie believed that she and TB would get married. How you think you about to get married? I,
Cheating in the back room. Yeah, that
I be
okay.
one.
So that's it. That's right there. That's what I was trying to say. What you know that he has a wife. What will make you think you're about to get married? And then my thing is, why would you want to marry somebody who's cheating on his wife for you? That's the shit I don't be understanding.
The Lord is never going to bless you with somebody else's spouse. I just need to get that off my chest. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not going to
right.
happen. So back to Rosie. So TB and Rosie were caught by Paulette in TB's study having sex not long
Damn.
before Paulette was murdered. So he not just cheating, but you cheating in the Lord's house.
He
You are
is slanging
standing
biblical wiener to the women of the church. Oh
in the
wow.
church.
In the
In the
church.
church.
Like that should be like it gotta be like you got certain sins that you just don't do. But when you slanging wiener inside the church to somebody that's not yours, that's not your wife, yeah, it's a special place in hell for
I
you.
don't think you should be, even if he was married. I get the marriage, but not in a church. That just feel weird.
I ain't gonna lie though. I ain't, I mean, that's if you're married, and in
It's
the
still
eyes of
weird.
God,
That's
I
an
mean,
odd place to have sex. Let's keep it real.
it's blessed. It would be a
It's
blessing.
no,
Okay,
I feel
no, okay.
awkward. No, we're
I
not
guess
having
I'm
sex
just
in
a freak. I
church.
apologize, but go ahead, proceed.
So Paulette threatened to disclose this information to the deacon board. So after this incident, Rosie disappears from the church. So the police found this suspicious. So they come on, Miss Rosie, let's come talk to us for a little bit. We need to find out what's going on, because of course they believe she has a motive for killing Paulette. She wanted to marry TB. get her out the way. He's not getting divorced because that looks bad. Pastors aren't supposed to get divorced, so
Yeah.
he got get her right on out the way. But fortunately, I should say, Rosie had an airtight alibi, so she was immediately taken off of the suspect list.
Mm.
So Paulette was laid to rest on May 28th of 2010 at Rising Star Baptist Church. Her son, John Ross, paid for all of her funeral expenses.
Okay, so in 2009, a year before the murder, William, and remember that's TB's son, couldn't take the abuse and chaos anymore, living with his father and stepmother. It was alleged that TB and Paulette were stealing his Social Security checks and his college tuition reimbursement checks. He moved in with Tyrone Marie Palmer, and I guess she was a friend.
Tyon. You said called her
Tyon.
Tyrone.
Oh, damn. And I said her too. Tyon, right?
I
A
ain't gonna
chick
lie,
named Tyrone.
she kind of looked like a Tyrone, but we ain't gonna talk about
Oh,
that.
yes. Yeah, there we go. Now you getting on my list. Yeah, so she like a nigga. All right, so Tyon Marie Palmer, a friend. At the time she was 32. She was born in 1978. She was a single mother of 3 children and worked as a nursing assistant. She previously moved to Houston from New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. She basically became William's caregiver. Because remember, William was always sick, bone infections.
The
Infections and
sickle
all that other
cell.
stuff. Sickle cell, yeah. So she was his caregiver. So William takes Tyon to church with on one day on a Sunday morning, and TB sets his eyes on Tyon. So look, he like, oh yeah, that's one fine young tenderoni.
I
So
guess
TB
Rosie
give.
wasn't enough.
I mean, Rosie was no, Rosie ain't. Yeah, I mean, Rosie was. It's never enough though, man. You know, when you it's never enough. TB give William a note to slide to Tyon. So my, you didn't think to open a note? Like, why are you giving notes to my people? But basically saying, I know I'm married, but I want to get to know you. I am divorcing my wife soon. Tyon and TB start a full blown relationship. So he not only cheating with Rosie,
And
but
whomever else.
now he achieved with Tyon. Like, but the thing is, he wasn't real. He told her, like, look, I'm married. Well, he wasn't real because he said he was getting a divorce. That wasn't the case. But so she know he married and she still went along. That's the shit I'm talking about. So they got engaged, quote unquote, planned the whole wedding, and they were look, check this out, Tiff. They're Tiffany. They were even taking family photos together.
We gonna post some family photos too.
Yes, we got them. There we go. So they had met each other's family and everything. So like they really over here like living it's just them. And he got a whole ass wife at home, right? A
Whole
whole ass
wife,
wife.
kids. I mean, well, at this point they were grown, but I'm just saying you got a whole wife, nigga.
And you got a
You just out
congregation.
getting a
Yes.
congregation that you have to answer to. Like, you supposed to be an upstanding man, a guy. Like, I get you're still human, but you are held to a higher standard. Like, I mean, you can't be a preaching the word on Sunday, talk
And
about
slang and
adultery,
biblical
and you
wiener.
yes, and you just out here slanging all type of dick. Mm.
But look, this is a crazy part. I didn't even mention William, which is the sickly son, had a crush on Tyon, right? We're gonna call her T because I keep on want to say Tyrone. So he's not particularly fond of his dad and his wifey in his head being a couple. So, he already like, this is my woman. I like her. And now Pops is over there stroking and poking, slanging biblical wiener. So let's get back to the investigation, right? Police investigate the scene of the murder and they notice several things. First, they check TB's alibi about going to the store. The convenience store he claimed he went to get the chips and the candy, remember the baby root, they were closed. Also, they didn't find any wrappers in the car. Next, Paulette's blood was found on the grill of TB's car and, of course, on his keys.
So
The
let's
shell
stop
ca-
there.
okay,
Let's back up. So remember,
let's
he
back
said
up.
he wasn't there at the time of the
No,
murder. So if you weren't there, how did your
how
blood get on the grill of your car
exactly?
and on your key?
Yes.
Well, I can see it on your keys because maybe you had your keys in your hand, but how would it get on the grill of your car?
And you know what's look, this what I realized the other day, and true story, how easy blood transfer. So the other day I was doing something, I ended up cutting my finger. And it's so crazy how no, it was bleeding and how quick blood splatters. It was blood on my I would wear my son Crocs on the Crocs. It was some drippers on the floor. Like it, you don't like it goes everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk, it really does. So I can see that situation. You're not even thinking, like I didn't even realize it was on my son Crocs till like later on that day, and I looked down like, oh damn, it's blood on here. So anyway, so Of course, you know what I'm saying, they found it on the keys and they found the shell casing. They found the TB's tire indicated that the car was at sitting there at the time of the gunshot, right? So I guess it would determine that when she was shot, the car was there, but remember, he said he was gone. It was also known that TB's car had been recently started, so the engine would be heated to seemingly make it look like the car had been to the store. But with testing, it was noted the car only had been started minutes before the murder. So all they got to do is look at the temperature thing, the temperature gauge. If you drove all the way down the street, you should be at usually the operating temperature. And so he messed that one up. So the police confront TB, with this said information, like, hey, look, dude, shit ain't adding up. What's going on? TV said he went to go to the store, but turned around when he saw that it was closed. He told police that he needed an alibi, so he lied about going to the store.
And you don't think they just gonna
Dumbass.
check your alibi? That's the first thing they're gonna do is check your alibi. Duh.
Yes. Ah, Jesus. Like
So
my son, Jesus Christ.
a few days after the murder, TB goes ahead and moves in with Tyann. So mind you, remember William's already living there.
Yeah.
So the father and son, they get into a heated argument, like a heated argument. Because TB finds out that William and Tyann are screwing.
Oh man, stroking and poking.
So baby, you screwing the
That's
daddy and the
that.
son.
Yes, so you're cheating on. Okay, so you're screwing the pastor who's married, and then you're screwing the pastor's son. Folks is nasty, man.
That's
BV, I bet this her damn thing all off.
pH
Her
level is off.
pH level off. Know what I'm saying? You smell like octopus juice. Know what I'm saying? And and shark bait.
So this is where everything just goes to shit at this point. So police get an anonymous call from a concerned citizen. And this
Mhm.
citizen tells police that she has information about the murder of Paulette. She knows who the murderer is and she knows where he can be found. She's in the police. She said, all right, you can go pick him up at this gas station right on the corner. Right here, that's where he gonna be at. So what the police do, they got up, they pack up their stuff, they head to that location, pick up the gas at the gas station, they pick up William and drag his ass right on in and they gonna question him.
So what? He was just sitting there. Okay.
I don't know how it was said was she, and it was a she called in and she was apparently one of William's friends and he had confessed to her about everything that happened.
Oh,
So
and okay, I get it.
yeah, he had plans to turn himself in because he, I guess, like the guilt was eating at him. I don't know how she knew he was at this gas station that wasn't disclosed, but she was like, "Hey, he gonna be right here. Y'all go
And
get
they
him."
got his sickly ass. So William goes ahead and he tells it all. He made like, look, man, the woman that I fell in love with is messing around with my pops. I'm about to tell it all, right? So he
And they
planned to
done
turn.
stole all this money from me.
Yes, they just sold
Y'all
the
done,
Social
y'all done beat
Security,
me. You
all that.
stole from me.
Until you do right by me. So look,
Everything you do gonna.
so William claims, quote unquote, claims that he planned to turn himself in before TB kicked him out of the house. William starts crying. He admits to the shooting. He admits to shooting Paulette. So he admits to shooting his mother-in-law, right?
Stepmother.
Stepmother. I know. I always get that messed up. Mother-in-law. Okay. I always get those messed up. He said that he didn't want to. He told police that TB set everything up. He told him that TB wanted Paulette dead so that he wouldn't have to divorce her, so he could remain the pastor of the church and marry T.
Wait, I
Apparently,
want to know how many women you done promised a ring to. You said you was gonna marry Rosie. Is that your thing? You tell everybody we gonna get married?
that's his thing. Yeah, obviously it is. I mean, he willing to kill for it too. But that's so crazy. So you killed her so you could remain a pastor at the church. Like, what do you think? How do you think God gonna bless you from any of this? Like, so it really proves that you have no true desire to be a pastor. It's all for the prestige and the money, obviously, and the ability to screw your church members. I'm assuming. So Tyrone had given TB an
You
ultimatum.
just call her Tyrone
I know
again.
that's what I'm saying. Jeez. So Tyon had given TB an ultimatum that if he didn't leave Paulette, she was going to leave him. So what does TB do? He took his head back to the house he shared with Paulette and told her it was over. He told her, like, look, I'm about to be with another woman I love. I'm out of here. I ain't dealing with you no more. Paulette said, let me tell you something, sir. What you're not going to do is leave me for some hussy, two-bit whore. and set me on the shelf. Play with me if you want to, and I'm headed straight to the dinking board and confirming all your foul ass, nasty, disgusting ways. So TB had been asking William to kill Paulette for a while. That's like, how could you ask your son to do something like that? Like that's a selfish, self-centered individual. You asking your son to kill your wife. But anyway,
Classic
William
narcissist.
refused. Exactly. He attempted to bribe him by telling him that he was going to give him a portion of the life insurance policy that he would get after she was dead and gone. It got
But
so
hold on, you
bad.
done already stole my money, so why would I? You stole all. You owe me, sir.
But so I'm going to be honest with you. I'm starting to. So nothing was said in in our investigation about the case that he was slow. But I'm starting to really think that he was a little. He was a little touch. And we're talking about William. I think he was. Yeah, I kind of think he's a little borderline Riri. I can't say those exact words, but I think he was with some of the things that's going on, right? But like I said, he got so bad that he like, look, I'll give you the money, whatever you want. But and then he look, TB told him, look, if you kill her, know what I'm saying? Then he said, if you kill her, not only will I give you money, but then T jumped in and said, look, if you kill her, then me and you can be together.
And how you sitting there talking about we gonna be together, but you over here with my daddy, and you and my daddy playing the whole life. So
Talk
I'm
about
with
keeping
you
it in the
on that one
family.
because I'm starting to. It is starting to give vibes that he a
Yes,
little
yes.
slow.
That's when you start really looking at it, the situation like, dude, nigga, like, what is wrong with you? I told you, a little Riri, he a little touch. So in the interrogation, a detective asked William, who is her main man? So this is what the detective is asking William. You or your father? William says, sir, I don't even know.
And right there, I'd have been done. I'm done at this point. I'm done. Like I don't.
I'm telling you, man, it ain't no cooch that good that's gonna have me doing that. I'm sorry. I mean, ain't this I'm being honest with you. It's where I'm knowing that you're cheating, you're messing with me, you're messing with my father. And no, no, not at all. Not at all.
Y'all don't even know who the main man and who the side nigga is. But I digress.
Now that be
So
so what hypothetically, what I just thought about this, right? If she were to get pregnant, now, okay, and forgive me, this maybe a dumb question. If she were to get pregnant, if they were to get DNA tests, don't him and the father got the same DNA?
no, because when you have DNA, he has some from his mother and some from his father. So it's the cross between the two DNA. So they would be able to tell that like they would have familial DNA, but it wouldn't be
Okay, okay.
identical. So they would be able to know who the father was. Not if it was a situation where they were like identical twins, because identical twins share the exact same duplicate DNA. And if you got a paternity test on twins, it would show they were both the father.
Okay.
Which, yeah, but no, but they have familiar DNAs because they do use that to sometimes like track down family members that they can say, okay, yes, you are related because the DNA is similar.
Okay. Gotcha.
So William told police that Tyon had got the gun from a coworker. And he said that the night of the murder, Tyon drove him close to TB and Paulette's home via the back streets. He then said TB had Paulette sitting in a lawn chair in the driveway. So William walks the driveway past them. They're over there arguing, causing the ruckus. They said the neighbors said they could hear them from houses down. They were so damn loud out there hollering and screaming. That would have pissed me off.
Mm.
So, William walks in, or sorry, TB walks in behind William to verify that he has the gun. He says he's going to distract Paulette. So TB goes outside and he resumes arguing with Paulette as a distraction. Again, aggravating their neighbors. So William comes back out the house quietly. He sneaks up behind Paulette. He aims the gun down and fires a single shot to the back of her head. So William said he stood there for a moment. He was just like frozen, like he couldn't believe what he did. So he said TB ran up to him and shook him like and said, quote, "Get out of here so they can call the laws." End quote. TB also told William to get rid of the gun. So Tyon picked William back up and takes him to a cousin's house so he could clean up and change clothes before they went back to her house. Now you implicate more people in your plot. So William takes the detectives back to where he dumped the gun. He had tossed it in an embankment near a bayou. So 3 weeks after the murder of Paulette Burleson, William, Tyon, and TB were all arrested. All three were charged with capital murder on June 10th, 2010.
Dumbasses. And so at the time of the arrest, TB said that his congregation members. He told his he was speaking to his congregation members. I want them to know that I love being the pastor at the church, and I'm so sorry for adultery, but I want them to know I didn't kill my wife. Still trying to hold on. That's we'll talk about that. How the congregation look at the pastor as if he God and just overlook some of the stuff that they do. They were all tried separately, with William testifying in both TB and Tyon's trial, and exchanged for a plea deal of 20 years for his part in the murder. And I'll be wondering, like, do people think about if I get caught, what's going to happen? Like,
No, I think they
that's
absolutely do
what
not think about what
deters
they're gonna
me. Yeah, that was going to deter me, knowing like, okay, well, if I do this and I do get caught, I'm going to jump. That's enough to deter me. Like, yeah, I don't want no parts of this. That shit is crazy. So September with 2011, TB goes on trial first. In the opening statement from the prosecutor, Kari Allen, said that first and foremost, TB was the mastermind behind the murder. She said TB was about to lose everything. Paulette attacked TB after catching him having sex in the study, and that he killed his wife to gain control over the assets and to claim the $100,000 insurance policy that he was going to get. And then he was going to marry his fiance, and they were going to finance the wedding and just live a happy life. And he was never going to cheat again. So Kari also suggested that Paulette was going to implicate TB in orchestrating the fire at the church to collect insurance money.
I knew he did it.
Exactly. Come on, man. Who did? Yeah, this man, this crooked ass pastor. Jeez, there was a cell phone data that put TB in the area of the church during the time of the fire. So he didn't get this. Oh, damn. It's so much to say to break down about this. TB defense was that William planned to frame his father in the murder because he wanted T for himself. His attorney stated that there was no evidence to connect TB the crime no to the crime aside from the testimony of the shooter himself, which was William. The defense said that his client was a liar and a cheater, but not desperate enough to kill. Man, look, if you can lie, you can
You
cheat, you
can
can
cheat, you
kill.
can steal, you can kill. Yep.
Let's be honest with you. Tracy did not have to kill Paulette to get her out of his life. They were separated. They also said that William could no longer take the abuse from Paulette, and they brought up how she mocked him from being sick and how she stole his disability and his school stipend checks. They both did that shit because, first of all, as a father, I'm not about to allow you to steal from my kid, but obviously they was all screwed up, and they all was screwed up, right? From the very beginning. One of the deacons at the church testified that after the church burnt down, when TB was at the scene, he said, "Now that the church is burnt down, I got one more thing to get rid of." And when Paulette walked up, he said TB got really quiet. First of all, you punk ass Dinkin. Why did you didn't think to say anything to anybody?
Unless he was in on getting a cut of that insurance money from the church.
I wouldn't doubt it. I definitely wouldn't doubt
Because
it.
that's what it's given.
Yeah, so why? So you hear the pastor, and you know how the villains be when they be rubbing their hands together, like now that the church is burnt down, I got one more thing to do, just giving all the information up. But anyway, TV testified on his behalf and said, "I would never tell my son to do anything like that. I didn't pay my son. I didn't have no money to pay my son."
Well, you knew you had money coming from that $100,000 life insurance policy. So you talking about you ain't had no money. You had money on the way
And you was stealing.
from
Remember not
two
to mention.
crimes.
Yeah, exactly.
You was over here waiting on some change, sir. So the
Change.
prosecution asked William to take the stand, and he testified about TB asking him in 2008 about killing Paulette. So this is 2 years in the making. So William said, quote, he would ask me to do it. Then he would say, well, you're not my son. Some days he would get mad and fight on me. Then he would come back and apologize and cry and was like, man, I just want to be with y'all. And he would say, hey, man, you would even get some money. He was like, Ty even says she'll give you her car if you do it. So he would come at me different ways to try and get me to do it, end quote.
This was slow. I'm telling you. I apologize. I mean to cut you. He was slow. I'm telling. Listen
I,
to
I,
that.
He does give the vibes that he was a little delayed. He does.
Yes, a lot delayed,
So
but
he
not the
also
sharpest
testified
one.
that Tyon was pressuring TB to go ahead and kill Paulette. Quote, she told him he had one more week left, but he kept saying that he needed more time because him and Paulette had just set their church on fire and he needed to play that off. End quote.
I mean, it's
He, done
not
he was
funny.
like, man, fuck you up there. He threw that nigga up under the
Oh
bus.
shit, this is crazy, man. Go ahead. This is
So the defense
crazy.
asked for a mistrial as William was not supposed to speak about the fire during the trial. So the judge denied the motion for a mistrial. Why can't he bring up the fact he need to be charged for that too? Throw arson on there too. Shoot, just throw it on there too. Charge him with that too.
Exactly,
He ain't
man.
shit nigga. Throw the book at his ass. So the prosecution came back with the fact that TB lied about his relationship when he was originally questioned about Tyon. He denied any relationship with Tyon outside of her being William's caregiver. The state also said that the blood was projected onto the front grill of TB's car during the shooting, and that TB went to his car after coming in contact with Paulette's blood to start the engine to corroborate his story that he came from the store. So, sir, you're transferring blood all over the place. And again, like we said before, if the car had not been there would have been no possible way for that blood to splatter onto the grill of the car.
Yep.
You got to
Yep.
think. You got to think.
Dumbass. Dumbass.
So, furthermore, William testified that TB offered to pay him between $2,000 and $3,000. The court documents are unclear about the exact amount. And they said that it wasn't important, so that's that. So out of you getting $100,000, you gonna offer me $2,000 to $3,000, sir? That you
He
owe
was
me back
slow. I'm
pay.
trying to tell you, man. The thing it was is more and more is really showing that he got the slow vibes. I mean, $2,000 to $3,000, and you're supposed to be
And
getting,
that ain't even gonna cover the retainer for my attorney if we get caught.
yeah, that
And I
shit
want my money
crazy.
in hand. But you gonna pay me
Right
to do
there.
something. I need my money right in hand. You
Yeah,
know
we not
me.
waiting.
Services
Yes.
are rendered after payment is received. Other than that, we are hypothetically speaking. So,
Mhm.
anywho, so TB found out after Paulette's murder that he would only get $30,000 instead of the $100,000 that he anticipated. So now
I
he
know he
probably
just
came back
like,
like, look,
God damn.
I ain't even got that whole 3K. I'm gonna slide you 500. Like that's probably what happened because now this nigga he thought he was getting an
I
extra
told him, hey,
seventy
look, I told you,
thousand.
man, God got a sense of humor. Like, yo, I got something for your ass. He only get 30,000 thinking you about to get 100. I know he like, oh damn, man.
And furthermore, the nigga ain't gonna get shit because there's always a clause in insurance policies that if they find out that you have something to do with the murder, you will not get that check.
Nothing. So your dumb ass ain't got nothing, man. You done lost your church, you done killed your wife, and
Alexa,
now you
play
about to
Whitney.
lose your
I have
freedom.
nothing because that's what this nigga got.
And somebody gonna
Nothing.
take Kibuchi cat when he get in jail. They
So the
gonna write
jury
that.
goes out to deliberate and they come back with a guilty verdict for capital murder. After the verdict was read, Judge Susan Brown asked TB if he had any response about his verdict. He said, quote, no, end quote. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
So Joyce Bigham, which is Paulette's sister, doing victim impact statement, said he lied, stole, and cheated her out of life. He is a coward. He is a low down, dirty coward, which he is, man. Like that was such a bitch move. Like real
And
talk.
I'm sure she felt really bad because that was the sister that introduced her to TB.
Well,
Well,
not
invited her to church
took on the
rather than
church. Yeah,
introduced her. Yes.
took on the church, and yeah, that's why you can't trust a church with that many names. So, you had when it's that many names, I would just recommend if the church got more than 3 names, don't go to it. That's for me. Keep it simple. That's why my church is New Community. That's it. That's it. New Community. When you add all them other Jericho and the Bethlehem and down the street from Mount Pleasant, it's too much shit. So
Yeah,
TB
because mine
sister
only
told.
got two names too. Now I'm sitting there thinking about a faith fellowship, two names. That's it. Real
Yes, that's what
simple.
I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yes, and don't be the good pastor. But when you start adding all them other names in there, man, I think, yeah, it's some BS in the game. So TB sister told reporters that TB was offered a 40-year plea deal, but he turned it down because he felt he would get off. So I mean, so just being honest, if it was me facing 40 years and he's up in age,
He's not
and
up in age. He was only like 40 something.
I mean, but 40 that's 80 years.
I know, but I'm just saying, you talk about up in age, like he in his 70s or 80s about to go down. I mean, the
I
nigga was in
mean,
his
when I say
40s.
up in, you're right though, because I am in my 40s and I feel young. So you are as old as you feel. But what I mean is, as with 40 years on top of his age, he won't be looking to get out 80. Let's just say hypothetically 7, even if they're not 10 years off. So he probably like, man, look, take that shit to trial, and we about to see what happened. And the shit backfired.
And it did. So Tyon goes to trial right after TB. So Tyon's defense attorney disputed all claims of Tyon actively participating in this murder. Her defense said the only thing that she was guilty of was being in love with a married man and sleeping with his son.
Freak.
Uh, oh, the prosecution called her a manipulative liar. So William also testified in the trial of Tyon. They said William came into court with Tyon's name tattooed on his neck with some lips.
Yep,
This
he
man got a whole jailhouse tattoo.
He officially slow. That right there, yes, he done. Yes, he officially. So we confirmed that right there. You got her name tattooed while you was in jail. Oh God, go ahead.
So they said while William was on the stand, he was like extremely irate when being asked questions. And they said one question in particular like really set him off. The defense asked William if his father was such a horrible man, why would he hook him up with Tyon? And let's be real, that's a legit question. You know your
Yes,
daddy ain't shit, so why you bringing your friend, your so called great friend? She takes care of you. Why would you hook her up with the devil?
I don't know. That nigga probably was sitting there chewing on a lead stick. Just dumbass. Just
The jury comes back with a verdict of guilty of murder and tampering with evidence. So she's guilty as well.
okay.
However, Tyon is only sentenced to 7 years. 7
Why that?
years with 10 years probation, with the probation time running concurrently with the prison sentence. So basically, she's she's gonna do 7 years and have 3 years probation.
Hold on, stop. What the hell is going on in your area? What?
Is this dude with this Hemi Jeep? Like he lives in my street and he aggravates me so much. Like
Like
you don't have to come down the street like
that
that
damn fast. That shit
and
is.
loud. It is 9:30 in the evening, sir. Like, why do you have to be so loud? Because
We're not
I was
about
like,
to
I
edit
hope they
that.
can't
We're
hear
not.
that, but sheesh.
Yeah, we are not about to edit that because that is too funny. So they are going
That's
to
the
hear
second
that.
time he done came down the street. I'm like,
It did.
damn.
I heard it earlier, and I'm like, damn, it did. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
So again, she only got 7 years with 10 years probation, but her 10 years probation is gonna run concurrently with the prison sentence. So basically, she's gonna
She
do
only
her
got
seven
3
years.
years.
She got 3 years of probation. When she gets out, she's only gonna be on probation for 3 years, basically, and she's free to live her life like she didn't take somebody else's. The same prosecutor, Kari Allen, called her, quote, a manipulative liar. And she said she deserved more than 7 years for taking the life of Paulette. I agree. She said, quote, you can't just kill somebody because you don't want to go through a divorce, end quote. And she wanted her to get a life sentence. I
That's
agree.
crazy. You went from wanting her to get life, and all she got was 7 years with 10 years. I mean,
With
actually, it's only three
basically
years
3 years
probation.
probation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like, I mean, like that's
Shit,
a gravy
I,
ass sentence.
I need her attorney. Can we get her
Exactly. I'm
attorney
like, it's
name?
niggas walking around that have like lesser charges and didn't get that amount of time.
Yes. Yes. Give me her lawyer's name. Just want to throw that out.
So she did serve her sentence. She was at Mountain View Prison in Gatesville, Georgia. She was released sometime in 2017. Like she is off the map. I guess she laid low like a smart person because, like, OJ didn't. Like, if you get away with murder, you should just be quiet. Don't say
Yes.
nothing else. But I did stumble upon, she took out a $20,000 PPP loan in 2021. And it does seem that she's moved back to New Orleans. Has opened up some type of hair care business because she's not on social media under her real name. I don't know. That was as much as I could find on her after lockup.
Oh, okay. So she went back to New Orleans. So TB filed for an appeal in February 2013 and argued that a mistrial should be granted due to full or impartial information to the jurors that Mr. Burleson had committed a horrendous act of arson in a place of worship. Court said that the state did not purposely bring up arson. The witness produced information willingly. He also argued that the evidence was insufficient to support a conviction of capital murder since it was undisputed that William was not hired for murder and that William killed Paulette because she was abusive to him. The courts upheld the sentencing. Tracy Burleson is serving life sentence. He is serving a life sentence at Pulaski unit. Allen Pulaski unit. William was sentenced on 11/11/11. There we go. Them numbers. Remember the last case.
The last case, yeah.
Yes, 11/11/11 to 20 years as part of his plea deal at the Jim Ferguson prison in Madison County, Texas. His release date is 6/7/2030. We also have a clip of an interview with Williams' mom that was done in 2020, and she talks about how she feels about the situation. So there you go.
So let's just do a very, very, very brief breakdown of this case. So
Break it down.
basically, you have TB, pastor. He's a cheater. He's a horrible person. Hires his son to kill his wife so he can be with his son's caregiver, but his son is sleeping with his girl too. Y'all planned the whole wedding. Y'all got family pictures, and you kill your wife for what you thought was gonna get $100,000, and you committed arson. You don't get shit but a life sentence. I'm done with this whole case. Like this is too damn much.
I
Like
mean,
this
yes,
don't make no
no
sense.
sense, and they really be thinking that they're going to get away. Like that's the craziest part. Like they really think that they're going to get away. You can't keep on doing wrong. Especially there's one thing I would say: don't play with God. Don't play
Because
with
he
God,
gonna
or don't
humble
play with
you
God's
every
people.
single time.
Yes, and
Every
don't
single
play with
time. And
yes.
then I feel like, and this is my personal opinion. I feel like he like, oh, you want to play? Like, I'm gonna show you how to play. You in church, you mismanaging my people, you mismanaging my money. Oh, we gonna nope. I got you. I
Yeah,
got
but I
something
mean,
for you.
it's the crazy part is, man, it is so many. It's this is a common issue, and in fact, I'm not going to just make it a black issue, but since we are black, and we're just as melon mysteries, and we talk about issues in the black community, we got to be honest, man. It's a very common trend of pastors, having affairs with the church members and being on some booty. Remember Eddie Long? Remember Eddie Long? That
Mm-hmm.
cocky pastor
Yep.
that was taking pictures and fondling young boys and touching their Bucci cats and all that. Remember him?
And who was the one who was on Real Housewives? He was married to
Oh yes, he.
Jamal Bryant. Was that his name?
Yeah, I think that's his name, man. When I say I cannot stand that dude whatsoever, and the fact that he still get airplay, and the fact that you still have a congregation that follow behind you speaks volumes about us as a black as a community. That like we see all the foul stuff this dude did. Jamal Bryant, man, I'm talking about he didn't get got caught cheating. You know what I'm saying? But didn't step down from the church. He didn't been engaged to all the people you on what you call it reality TV, and you still got people that literally like hang on his every word. That shit is so crazy to me. Like, dude, you was a fake prophet, you was a false teacher, and anybody that listens to him, you know what I'm saying, like get what they deserve. Like real talk. But there's so many pastors out there like that people do that with. It is so many
And
that
I
they do.
think the problem is that one would they're supposed to be held to a higher standard, but it's like people fall in love with the pastor and they put the pastor on the same pedestal as Jesus, and it's not
Yeah.
supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be there to worship the Lord, not the pastor. Like I and the pastor that I listen to, she is wonderful. Like, but she'll say, first of all, she will say it in a quick hot second. She like, look, I'm a regular person. I'm just delivering a message. You have questions, she like, don't take my word for it. Go get your Bible and read it for yourself. So, but it's not a lot of pastors that are like that, and it's sad because it's supposed like you're supposed to be saving people, but some of these pastors are so concerned about themselves and the money and all of that the message is getting lost.
I mean, I don't even think it is. And you got some pastors that are phenomenal speakers, and I mean that can preach a message, but their insights is so corrupt, and like individuals like that, like a person like a Jamal Brown, whatever his name, it's not just him. You got to think about the Dinkin board. Like y'all got to pull him down. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to be responsible to be able to be like, you know what? No, we're gonna have to sit you down, bro. You're doing too much. But they don't do it because why? Because it's generating revenue. It's bringing in all this money and all this attention. So they'll never say nothing. Let me tell you, when I fell in love, not fell in love because I don't want to sound like, but when the respect I got for my pastor, when I seen him pull up and he had a Toyota Avalon. And I know you like, but it speaks volume, especially because I'm in a big church. He was in the Toyota Avalon, not a Cadillac, not a Benz or anything, right? Yeah,
But that's not also not to say, because some of these pastors, they have jobs outside of being the pastor.
yes,
And it's
yes.
nothing wrong with having nice things if you work for them. But it's the point where you're taking the church's money to finance a lifestyle that you wouldn't have when you have people in your congregation that are struggling. And I won't say the name of the church. I will not say it. But
Well, shit, you
I'll
tell
never
me, I say the name. The Word Church. Is that what you're gonna say?
Oh,
Look,
Lord, this
hey,
podcast is about to be in the trash before we even make traction. Jesus, no! Why did you just so
I know,
aggravating?
I know, but
So
no,
anyway, I'll tell about a certain situation that I had in my teens, and I don't care for. And I've had several instances with. So we'll start with when they were just really getting going. It had really just become a mega church, and I'll never forget. I was sitting there maybe about 15, 16, and he was doing an altar call for collections. Okay, cool, do the altar call. But then it was give more, and this person gave $10,000, and that's like you have people in your congregation who literally cannot get here. You have people in your congregation that are literally giving you their last. I don't need to know what Johnny over here gave, because what Johnny gave, I may not have.
yeah, it's a
That's not
parable in the
fair to
Bible.
me.
Yeah, that talks about that. That is a lady.
That it shouldn't
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be talked about who gave what. Like, it does not need to be discussed. Furthermore, I'll never forget, I was sitting at KFC. It was New Year's Eve. Again, I was a teenager, and I just happened to be sitting right next to him. And he was telling somebody that he needs a custom made suit for every single Sunday of the year. Why? You can't recycle a suit. Again, you have people in your congregation that can't eat. They are spending their last to be just to hear your word. That's not important. And then, my friend, she did their anniversary last year before last.
We about
And
to
she said
lose some listeners.
rude, how rude the lady was. And she gave her a price, and she said she like did not want to pay. And she was like, after I took the deposit, she gave me the runaround. And she's, when you have a big event, your deposit is due 2 weeks before your event, because, just to make sure that I'm not showing up to a venue. Well, I don't do things like that, and you're going to get your check the day of.
Mm.
Oh, and she said she was very, very rude. She said, like, they were blowing up her phone. Again, making sure she's going to be there, but you have not sent my payments. Like, she's well, we don't do things like that. I understand how you do things, but this is my business. This is how I run my business. But it was just overwhelming how extremely rude that she said that and I was like I would see some of the text messages because my friend was so stressed.
Mm.
She's like, I know
Mm.
this is a big, thing. And I'm blessed to have this opportunity. She was like, but baby, I didn't come find you. You found me. And she's like, give me respect just like you would give anybody else respect. It doesn't matter as to who you are. You should still respect me. You're supposed to be a leader. Bring out that leader mentality when you're dealing with regular people. You're not above me.
Man, and
And
I get it.
I was there at that setup. That setup was ridiculous.
Yeah. So
Ridiculous.
I understand that pastors are humans. I mean,
They
we
are.
are humans. I get it, but I mean, you. With that being said, when you are in that position, you have to understand that all eyes are on you, and there's certain things that you cannot do, and certain things, yeah, you just can't do. So, I can. I mean, we just now starting our podcast. I ain't trying to lose a lot of people because that's why I can't wait to we
More
get more
listeners.
followers and listeners because then I could really be an edge because I got so many stories and like I wouldn't mind losing people, but
You wouldn't
it's
mind losing people, but
yeah, and but right now, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, but that was definitely the case. So we gotta do the ending. Go ahead, you do all this good stuff, girl. You say it.
okay. So before we let you go, first and foremost, unless you just canceled us because of what he just said,
Damn.
tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to listen. We would like honest reviews. Let us know what you think. Feel free to interact with us on social media. We are on TikTok, Melanin Mysteries Pod. Instagram, same thing. Facebook is Melanin Mysteries Podcast. Um, so yes, tell a friend to tell a
Yes,
friend to tell a friend, and your coworkers and your sister and your daddy and their mama and all of that. And they side
yes.
chick, the pastor side chick, tell them to.
Yeah, tell the side chicks and the side niggas. Cause remember, Lance case, they were side niggas and they were side chicks. So yes, tell everybody we are trying to get again. We are two best friends that came together with our idea, and we working. And I mean, you're actually are witnessing us grow. Like if you pay, you're witnessing it because we never did this before, so we're actually stepping out on faith. And we're doing it, and because I mentioned that church, we probably lost about two good people. Um, they're like, no, man, no, you don't talk about Pastor Vernon like that. What the you don't
Yeah, you
bring
just
my
said his name on
pastor?
top of
Oh
sweet
damn.
Jesus.
Yeah, all right, it's time for me to stop talking. So go ahead. So go ahead. Our
So
catchphrase.
yes, so you follow us on social media. Remember to tell everybody, tell everybody. So just remember that love should not come with a life sentence. Choose
Mm-hmm.
freedom and not
Oh,
felonies.
there we go. And we are out. You guys take it easy. We will be posting pictures of the everything. And we, of course, you guys heard the audio, and we're going to post the audio of William's mother talking about the case. So you guys take it easy. Catch us next week.